And good morning everyone, Gary here. Thanks for dropping by. I changed out my move for a bark. So I put this little simple little sketch together this morning while having coffee with the dog. And I liked the sketch, so I thought I'd just film the inking and the paint portion of this and see how it turns out. So again, super simple composition. This is a 5x7 sheet of Arch 140 pound cold pressed paper. And I'm going to get right to the painting here. I got my hockey brush going with some relatively clean water, and I'm doing wet in wet for the sky. So I'm throwing in some ultramarine. I mixed the ultramarine with a bit of sepia and a bit of burnt sienna, and it looks like I'm putting raw sienna in there as well. Now my intent is to have some trees in the background behind this house. So once I get the sky done and the paper is still relatively damp, oh, I'm fussing with the sky there. Oh, I even put some red in there. How about that? Okay, so yeah, I dabbed out a bit here just to take some of the moisture out of the paper and create a few clouds. And I also wanted to dab out my tree, because my tree I've decided is going to be bright and kind of stand out. So the paper's still a bit damp at the bottom, and I'm just dropping in some ultramarine. Well, there's the like and subscribe button, so please like and subscribe. Thanks again to everyone who's already jumped on. Okay, so here we go. I put in some, actually some raw umber in amongst the ultramarine in the background there, and then some burnt sienna to create the background trees. Kind of washed out because I want to put them back in the distance, and of course the darker ones are a little bit closer. So my foreground is a raw sienna. I'm staying away from the greens today other than the roof. So the foreground's a raw sienna, and then I'm putting in some burnt sienna, and I'm just dabbing out the front of the house there, just to give it a bit of a highlight, like some light is hitting it. And I've even gone to the undersea green to create that darkness in the front. And while it's all still wet, I'm just dabbing it in to give it some shadow look. So, as mentioned, here's some olive green for the roof. I got it nice and wet, and while it's still super wet, I'm dropping in some burnt sienna just to show some wear. I haven't decided what color the house is going to be just yet. I did decide early on though, I'm going to have a green roof and a red tree. That's all I decided before I set out. And I wanted to have it somewhat, not terribly overcast, but a bit of light coming through the clouds, and kind of a fall look, as I mentioned there. So the ground is a bit worn and tired. So I used a cadmium red for the tree with a bit of raw sienna. Since I had that raw sienna in the sky, I put that in first, made the tree super wet, and then put in some cadmium red on top. Going back to the cadmium red for a red door. Again, don't know what color the house is going to be. So I'm just painting all the stuff that I know, you know, the go-to stuff, like my Davies gray here for the steps. And I used some Davies gray and Hooker's green for the downspout, so I don't think I had that in there. Now my fence is a combination of raw sienna and burnt sienna at the base, and I think I'll even put in some Payne's gray there as well. There we go. Just to show some wear and tear on that guy. Speaking of wear and tear, I just got in a wet brush and I just dabbed out a bit of the color. It's kind of a bleached look. And now I'm going to get into the shadows. My shadows are a combination of ultramarine and Payne's gray. And I think, yeah, I put some sepia in the ultramarine. That's what I did. Sepia and ultramarine to create the shadow look. So it's not a terribly bright blue sky, so I'm going with these kind of gray shadows. Now my light is at the upper right, so my shadows are going to be cast over there to the left. Now if this place really existed, the shadows might not look exactly like that, but again, it's creative license on my part, my painting, and I'll do what I want. So it looks like I decided what color I'm going with in the house. So that is a Naples yellow and a bit of yellow ochre. And for the staining, my old go-to, the burnt sienna at the base of the house. I'm actually lifting out a bit of the yellow. It got a little too yellow on me, so I lifted out with a wet brush just to show some light on the front of the house. And my stonework's a combination of Payne's Gray and burnt sienna. And lifting out a few highlights on the stones. Now these are little details, little features of the house. Burnt sienna, and I'll put some Payne's Gray in there just to dirty them up a bit. Always important, I put these little shadows in the window just to give it a complete look. So there you have it, a super sped up fast video. Again, if you want this thing, it's over on Etsy. And thanks so much for looking. I'll get my signature on here. We'll get the tape off of this guy and we'll call it a day. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you again soon.